There is a myth in music that different keys have different characteristics, moods, or emotions attached to them. That C major is pure, A minor is tender, and so on. Now this is one of those myths that just will not go away. Prior to equal temperament tuning, each key did actually sound different. It was possible to tune an instrument that used fixed notes, like the piano, to a specific key and have it sound pretty good. But then if you wanted to play in a different key, you'd find that the notes became progressively more out of tune. But this problem was solved with the adoption of equal temperament. If you watched my video on tuning systems, you would have seen that with equal temperament, all keys are now equally out of tune. So, let's start with the note C and tune it to 100 Hz for simplicity. And let's calculate all the notes in the C major scale using Pythagorean tuning. This is shown here. So we see that the 3rd, 6th, and 7th aren't quite in line with the true interval ratio based on the harmonic series. And as we've seen in previous videos, some of the chords in this key don't quite work. While all the notes form a relatively consonant interval with the note C, they do not all form consonant intervals with each other. For example, the interval between D and F is a minor third and therefore should be 6/5. But instead we find that it's 32/27. Similarly, the interval between D and A is a perfect fifth and therefore should be 3/2. But instead we find that it's 40/27. But this tuning is good enough if you stay in a single key. The problem arises, however, when you want to modulate to another key and thus need to create more notes by deriving flats and sharps. In a previous video, we covered how we add sharp notes by moving up by perfect fifths and add flat notes by moving down by perfect fifths. This is shown here. So now let's create a tuning system whereby we have only 12 notes per octave and all the black notes are going to be sharps derived using Pythagorean tuning. So our instrument does not have any flat notes. Deriving the G major scale would give you these intervals here. Now these are exactly the same as the C major scale, so these work fine. This is because G major contains an F sharp, which is one of the notes we've used in our tuning system. But now let's derive F major. Now F major contains the note B flat, but unfortunately we do not have any flats in our tuning system. The closest note we have is A sharp. This is shown here. So you see that the 4th note is an A sharp instead of a B flat. Now this note should form a perfect 4th interval with the tonic, the F, and thus create a 4:3 interval ratio. However, because we don't have a B flat, we only have that A sharp, instead of that clean, small 4:3 perfect 4th ratio, we have this really big and ugly interval ratio, which will sound quite dissonant compared to the true perfect 4th. So with Pythagorean tuning, we tuned our instrument to a particular key, in this case C major. And we saw that if we modulate to certain keys, it's going to create some pretty funky interval ratios that are going to sound quite out of tune. And we even saw that some chords in the key of C major are going to sound out of tune. But if you played only in the key of C major and stuck to a really simple chord progression like a 1-4-5-1, then it will generally sound pretty good. But as soon as you use a 2 chord or modulate to a key that uses flat notes, things start to break down. Notes become more and more out of tune as you move anti-clockwise through the circle of fifths. And God help you if you tried to play something in G flat major, or heaven forbid, C flat major. And actually, even sharp keys are not safe. What if we wanted to play in G sharp major, because remember, there is no A flat. This would require the notes B sharp, E sharp, and F double sharp. Our tuning system does not have these notes because remember, B sharp does not equal C, E sharp does not equal F, and F double sharp does not equal G in this tuning system. Every note is distinct. This, of course, works the same way with chords. If you wanted to play the chord E major, you would need a G sharp. But if you wanted to play the chord F minor, you would need an A flat. Using a G sharp instead would make this chord sound quite out of tune. So before equal temperament, all tuning systems had this problem. As another example, here is the C major scale using just intonation. Now, a just semitone has a ratio of 16 to 15, a just major third has a ratio of 5 to 4, and a just minor third has a ratio of 6 to 5. In this tuning system, a single note will have a different frequency depending on what key you're playing in. For example, let's again take the note C to equal 100 Hz. Then the note E, which is a major third above our C, will equal 125 Hz. And the note C sharp, which is a semitone above C, will equal 106.7 Hz. But now, if we derive the note E again, but this time from the C sharp, so the note E being a minor third above the note C sharp, we will get E equal to 128 Hz. And so we find that the note E in the key of C major is different to the note E in the key of C sharp minor. So again, we find that this tuning system will work fine if we never change key. But as soon as we try to do something a little bit more interesting, like modulate, it all falls apart. I should also say, incidentally, that this is only a problem for instruments that use fixed frequency notes like the piano. Fretless instruments and vocals can and generally do play and sing with just intonation. This is because they can change the frequency of each note depending on what key they are in. A vocalist or violinist can play the note E at 125 Hz in C major and the note E at 128 Hz in the key of C sharp minor. A piano, unfortunately, does not have this flexibility. So these tuning systems worked fine when music was simple, when it stuck to simple melodies with simple harmonizations and was in a single key. But as music developed and became more complex, this situation became untenable. This prompted the adoption of equal temperament. Equal temperament divides the octave into equal intervals. Though frequency is a logarithmic scale, it's easier to represent equal distance on a linear scale. Unfortunately, this meant that all intervals except for the octave are slightly out of tune. But it presented the benefit of having a tuning system where all the keys are all equally out of tune. So you could now modulate to any other key and it would have the exact same interval ratios as every other key and thus sound relatively the same. So with equal temperament, we no longer have a reference key that sounds particularly consonant and in tune, with keys further away gradually becoming more out of tune. Instead, we opted to have all the keys be slightly out of tune, but consistently so. So as you can see, before the adoption of equal temperament, every key did sound different because each was slightly out of tune in its own particular way. Historically, the theory that keys have different moods was prominent during the 18th and 19th centuries when well-tempered tuning was widely used. This tuning system made irregular adjustments to various notes to ensure that no single key was overly out of tune. However, this meant that each key had a slightly different pattern of interval ratios, and hence different keys sounded different and thus had distinct characters or moods. With the gradual adoption of equal temperament in around the 19th century, this is no longer the case. Finally, I'll offer a few other issues that I have around the concept of key moods. Firstly, why is it only that major and natural minor keys have moods? What about modes or exotic keys? What mood is F-sharp Phrygian? What mood is A-flat altered? What mood is B whole tone? Second, the frequency notes were tuned to varied widely across time periods, countries, and towns. It was only in the 20th century that tuning was standardized to A equals 440 Hz. So if moods are tied to particular frequencies, then the mood of keys should vary over time as notes were tuned to different frequencies. Alternately, the tuning systems used by musicians over time also varied. Instruments have been tuned using Pythagorean tuning, different mean tone tuning systems, different well-tempered tuning systems, as well as equal temperament. So, if mood is actually tied to a particular set of interval ratios, then the moods of keys should vary over time as different tuning systems were adopted. So because historically the frequency of individual notes as well as the tuning systems and therefore interval ratios used overall varied so widely, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that one particular scale has some particular mood and always has that particular mood, no ifs or buts.